This video is brought to you by Sailrite. Visit Sailrite.com for all your project supplies, tools, and instructions. In this video tutorial, we'll be showing you how to make a rather sharp radial bend to Flex-a-Rail Awning Track. We'll be working on a Maxum 2900 powerboat's radar arch. An aft enclosure curtain will be installed here. Since we want to try to keep the weather and water from leaking around the curtain when it's up, we've chosen to use awning track and rope instead of snaps. Here's a look ahead of the awning rope being installed through the track. Let's get started and show you how to curve or bend Flex-a-Rail track radically. The first step is to take measurements of the area the Flex-a-Rail awning track will need to extend. Since the Flex-a-Rail is shipped in a few different lengths from Sailrite, we need to think about how many sticks we need and where each junction will fall. For this boat, the center of the radar arch to the coaming measures 95 inches. The awning track comes in 44 or 90-inch lengths, so we will use 2 each of the 90-inch sections and 1 each of the 44-inch section, and butt them together. Brian is going to mark a conservative 21 inches from center on both the port and starboard side of the radar arch. These marks will serve as a reference for creating a pattern so we can bend the track appropriately. To mark on the fiberglass, he is using a pencil. He then measures up from the coaming to the spot where the track will begin to take a curve and places a mark. Measure up on the opposite side and place a mark at that measurement also on that side. For easy reference when making the pattern, he uses a strip of 3M filament strapping tape along the marks and extends it to the top of the radar arch so it can easily be seen. It will also extend to the side of the radar arch here. To gain access for patterning, he will unsnap the bimini top from the radar arch. A side note, if you'd like to see how we made the bimini top for this boat, you will find a streaming video on our Sailrite website showing the entire process. Use some cardboard as patterning, being sure it covers the entire radius of the corner, and temporarily tape it in place along the curve. Mark the locations where the strapping tape falls at the top and side, and then trace the curve on the cardboard pattern. Repeat these steps for the starboard side. Be sure to label the pattern for easy reference. Sailrite's Flex-a-Rail track is, as the name implies, flexible, but the curve we need is rather abrupt and does require some special steps to achieve. This portion of the video will demonstrate what is required. Using the measurement we took on the boat, from coaming to beginning of curve transition, mark the track up from the end that amount, plus an extra inch for a fudge factor. Starting at the mark on the pattern, walk the track along the cardboard pattern to the point where the curve transitions to an almost straightaway, and mark the track there also.
Okay, the 2 marks that I made here, I made one mark that's the beginning of my crown, and then I made a mark up here, which is essentially the end of my crown. Notice the end of my track isn't going to be till up here, but I do want to make a mark here because I only want to heat this section up. There is just a real gentle curve up here. We'll be able to do that on the boat, but we're going to heat up this section and just bend that section.
Using a heat gun on high heat, Brian will focus the heat on the section he outlined, moving the heat gun over the track, rotating the track as he heats it up. The track will eventually start to take a bend. It will almost become the consistency of a spaghetti noodle that is cooked just long enough to start to take a bend. We've placed a timer on the video showing the approximate time length required before it can start to be bent. We're going to skip ahead here from about 28 seconds to 1 minute and 47 seconds. Brian feels and tries to bend the track, but it is not quite ready, so he reheats it again. After about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it is starting to bend slightly. After about 3 minutes, he thinks it's just about ready to take the full bend. Before bending, insert the awning rope to help stabilize the opening and keep it from collapsing. Do this quickly before the track cools again and becomes rigid. Notice that he uses the cardboard pattern as a reference, so he can hand bend the track to replicate the curve on the pattern. The track is cooled to the point where it will no longer bend easily, and he's not yet happy with the amount of bend. So he will remove the awning rope and reheat it once more. Only a smaller section needs bent more, so it will take less time since it is a smaller section of track that needs our attention. Before bending again, insert the awning rope. We are using Keter or Keter awning rope here. Does it match the pattern perfectly? No, but it's close enough. And notice that we can make modifications by simply flexing it, so we can match it up on the curve on the radar arch when we are installing each screw. Remove the Keter, or sometimes pronounced Keter, awning rope and inspect the track's opening. If a wall has collapsed slightly, you can open it back up by reheating that section and using a blunt object that fits almost perfectly between the walls of the track. Our track's walls are in good condition, but we want to demonstrate what should be done just in case yours is not. We're slightly heating up the track here, not enough to really make modifications, but we're still going to show you. So, if the track's walls were hot enough, this cut-off screwdriver would be forcing the walls apart as they cool down and become rigid again. So that's all it takes to force Flex-a-Rail Awning Track to take a sharp turn. Coming up next, we'll show you how to install this track to the boat's radar arch. Since the track will extend all the way to the coaming and the ends need to be cut to match the profile angle, we need to tape it in place so we can mark it appropriately. Remember, we added an extra inch for the curve, so we will have some here we can cut off without losing too much. We can mark the cut with a pencil, trying to match it up with the coaming surface. Flex-a-Rail track cuts easily with a hacksaw. Some of you may be saying, if the track goes all the way to the coaming on both sides of the boat, how in the world is the awning rope going to be inserted in the track? Good question. Brian is determining which side of the track needs to have a cutout made and will grind off one side of the wall. Usually, a 2-inch opening is enough to allow the awning rope to be inserted. Here he is using a grinder, but I prefer using a Dremel tool with a sanding drum. We like to pre-drill holes in our track before taking it to the boat for installation. The first hole will be very close to the end of the track. This hole will almost be directly over the coaming, so we will angle it back about 45 degrees so we can drive the screw in at a slight angle, avoiding the coaming obstacle. All our other holes will be driven straight down. We like to position screw holes about 4 to 6 inches apart. When we get to the curve section or crown, we will switch our hole positions to about 4 to 5 inches apart there. Since our main goal of using the awning track is to help prevent water from leaking past the aft curtain panel, we want to also prevent water from leaking at the base of the Flex-a-Rail awning track. To accomplish a total watertight seal, we will use trimmable butyl tape from Sailrite. Sure, you could use marine silicone, but that captures dirt and also is a major pain to clean up off the fiberglass when it expands past the track. Butyl tape always stays flexible and is easy to remove from surfaces. If you don't use it along the entire length of the track, it should be used as a bedding compound for the screw holes. The holes that will be drilled into the fiberglass need to be protected from possible leaking. Using the butyl tape around each drilled hole will be a perfect bedding sealant for the hole we make in the fiberglass. Brian is now positioning the track and will temporarily tape it in place. After ensuring that it is where he wants it to lay, he will drill a hole through the pre-drilled hole in the track and into the fiberglass. We are using a 1/8 inch drill bit, which is the perfect size for the special screws that the Flex-a-Rail track uses. These stainless steel screws feature a flat head that fits perfectly in the opening of the track to allow passage of the awning rope. A square head screwdriver also needs to be used. As each screw is inserted and tightened down, you will notice the butyl tape expands beneath the track. We recommend drilling and screwing one screw at a time. After the track is secured, cleaning up the excessive butyl tape that has been squeezed out is easily done by running a knife gently beside the track, then rolling the butyl tape down, creating a snowball-like wad. Here at the top, we have to bend the track to match the radar arch. Since it's a gradual curve, this is easily done. The butyl tape will actually help to hold the track in place prior to drilling. Butyl tape will act differently depending on the working temperatures. We are working in a temperature of about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Normal room temperature or cooler is optimal for the consistency of the butyl tape when applying it to your job. After applied, it works in all temperatures. We did not show it, but we have installed the port and starboard side tracks. Now all we have left is the center section that will join them together. Brian will mark it to size, cut it, and then install it in the same manner as what we have shown. Always ensure that a screw is about 1 inch away from any end where a junction is made between two tracks. The openings at the bottom of our track are less than 2 inches. We need to open them up a little bit more to make it easier to insert the awning rope in a future step. Here you can see Brian inserting the Keter or Keter awning rope into the track. Coming up soon, we'll be showing a video on how to make an enclosure aft curtain. Be sure to watch for it, coming soon. In that video, we will be installing zipper to the flange of the awning rope so the curtain can be unzipped from the awning rope. Coming up next is the materials lists and tools we use to install and bend this track. For more free videos like this, be sure to check out the Sailrite website or subscribe to the Sailrite YouTube channel. It's your loyal patronage to Sailrite that makes these free videos available. Thanks for your loyal support. I'm Eric Grant, and from all of us here at Sailrite, thanks for watching.